This is Overthinking with Carmen, and I'm your overthinker in chief, spiraling publicly so you don't have to. And this week's spiral, it starts with the in my chest, a knowing, a grief, a fire. See, everywhere I look, it says the U.S. is at war with Iran on behalf of Israel, they say. And depending on what news you follow, what community you're in, what algorithm shapes your understanding, it may feel distant. It may feel irrelevant. But I'm telling you, this is not just a war in the Middle East. This is disruption in the spirit realm. Because disruption isn't just a headline. It's what happens when the illusions can no longer hold. It's what happens when certainty collapses. And beloved, certainty is collapsing. Economically, politically, and spiritually. And you feel it. You're more tired than usual, more anxious than usual, more disoriented. You're praying different. Or you're not praying at all because somehow the words feel too small for the moment. And I get it. When I wrote the 4 Laws of Disruption, I wrote it because I knew that this moment was coming. In the book, I say, we cling to certainty like a lifeboat, even when it's keeping us from the shore. Disruption doesn't come to destroy, it comes to deliver. And I've been feeling like that deliverance is just not received. See, because I didn't write that from a scholarly knowing aspect, but from a prophetic perspective. I've been walking on water since January 22nd, as y'all know. No job, no master plan, just faith. And I kept feeling like Noah when he was building the ark. And, he's like, I'm building this ark because God told me to. There's going to be a great flood. And the people are like, I don't see any rain. I don't see any clouds or even a sign of a storm. But he had divine instruction. And that's why I wrote the book, because I had divine instruction. And when I created the Senna sermon, What Survives the Fire? I wasn't trying to go viral. I was trying to build a lifeboat. Build a lifeboat for people who may not ever step foot into a church again, but that they know the fire is here. See, James Baldwin said, God gave Noah the rainbow sign. No more water, the fire next time. This wasn't about water this time. This is about fire. That was prophetic. And make no mistake, this is the fire next time. Not just missiles, not just inflation, but deep, consuming, refining fire, burning through the lies. The lies that says your job will make you safe. The lie that proximity to whiteness is protection. The lie that tradition means the truth. The lie that America is sacred. The lie that God is in the empire. None of it can stand the heat. Because you know what fire does? It burns away what isn't real. And that's what I said in the Senna sermon. And that's what I say in the book. What survives the fire is what was never false to begin with. The fire is not punishment. It's revelation. And I've seen it firsthand. When you lose your job, but not your purpose. When your plans collapse, but your calling doesn't. When everything you built falls apart and you're still standing. See, that's not survival. That's grace. But we don't want grace. We want comfort. We want the soft life without doing the hard truths, just like we talked about last week. And the truth is, most people don't want freedom. They want the familiar. They want the dysfunction, that same dysfunction, with just better lighting. See, they say they want the soft life, but the soft life requires that you do hard things to get it. Hard things like stillness, honesty, forgiveness, accountability. Hard things like surrender and trust. See, trust, that's the hardest thing of all. I told you last week I come from a family deeply rooted in Texas soil. And yeah, we just had Juneteenth, and it was a reminder for me, and I say it again, freedom didn't come all at once. It came layered, it came late, and it came with resistance. But it came. Because freedom doesn't need a deadline. It needs a decision. So this week, what I've been asking myself is this. Am I being led by fear or by the spirit of love? What false safety am I clinging to? What truths am I resisting because it would cost me my image, my comfort, or my pride? And that's where I leave you, my beloved overthinkers. If your life is built on a performance, perfection, or pretense of any kind, then the fire will come for it. If your theology is built on fear, not freedom, the fire will come for it. If your love requires certainty to function, it was never love. See, this is not the end of the world. These are our last days, but these are the last days of our lives. This is the end of the mask, and this is the beginning of liberation. If you're seeking clarity in all this chaos, I beseech you, watch What Survives the Fire at whatsurvivesthefire.com. And if you're ready to begin your own personal journey of disruption, to rid your own life of the lies and to tell the truth, then go to the number 4, lawsofdisruption.com. See, because you don't need more information. You don't need improved or better. You need transformation. You need to be new. And it starts with telling the truth. So thanks for spiraling with me once again. And I leave you with this. May you question your illusions. May you surrender what no longer serves. And may disruption be the catalyst for your liberation.